Well, good morning and welcome to Kidz Church. This morning we're going to be singing some songs, we're going to have a story from the Bible, and we'll be finishing off with our Cross Street Church family prayer. But we're going to start with a song called Great Big God, and it's one that's got some actions, and it goes like this. Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God, and he holds us in his hands. We repeat that. Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God, and he holds us in his hands. He's higher than a skyscraper, reach up as high as you can. He's deeper than a submarine. He's wider than the universe, stretch out as wide as you can, and beyond my wildest dreams. And he's known me and he's loved me since before the world began. How wonderful to be a part of God's amazing plan. Okay, see if you can remember those actions, and we're going to sing it together. Here we go. Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God, and he holds us in his hands. Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God, and he holds us in his hands. He's higher than a skyscraper. He's deeper than a submarine. He's wider than the universe, beyond my wildest dreams. And he's known me and he's loved me since before the world began. How wonderful to be a part of God's amazing plan. Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God, and he holds us in his hands. Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God, and he holds us in his hands. He's higher than a skyscraper. He's deeper than a submarine. He's wider than the universe and beyond my wildest dreams. And he's known me and he's loved me since before the world began. How wonderful to be a part of God's amazing plan. Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God, and he holds us in his hands. Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God, and he holds us in his hands. 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 Our story this morning is called A King for Israel. Samuel had been a priest in God's temple for a long time. He was a good man, but now he was old, and the Israelites would soon need a new leader. The Israelites were jealous of the people in the lands nearby because they had a king to lead them. We want a king too, the Israelites told Samuel. He will rule us and lead us in battle. Samuel talked to God about what the people had said. But I'm their king, God said to Samuel. I want them to serve me, and I will take care of them. When Samuel told the people, they said, "Oh no, we want a real king like everyone else." The people will not listen to me, God said.
I will give them the king they want, even though it will mean trouble. Samuel did not know where to start looking for a king, but he trusted God to show him the right man. Now in a place called Ephraim, there was an Israelite called Kish. He was a rich man. Everyone knew him. Kish had a tall, good-looking son called Saul. One day Kish found that some of his donkeys were missing. "You will have to go find them," Kish told Saul. So Saul set off with a servant to look for the donkeys. Saul and his servant walked a long way over the hills. They asked all the people they met, "Have you seen our donkeys? We have lost them." But no one had seen the donkeys. They came to a town. Saul said, "We won't find our donkeys in the town. We'd better go home. My father will be worried." But the servant knew that Samuel was in the town. "Let's ask Samuel," he said to Saul. "He knows everything." God spoke to Samuel as Saul came along the road. "That young man's name is Saul," said God. "You must make him the first king of Israel." So Samuel asked the two men to come into the house and rest. "Don't worry about the donkeys," he told them. "They have been found already." The two men were very surprised. They'd not told Samuel they were looking for the donkeys. Samuel looked at Saul as he came into the house. He saw how tall and strong he was. The people will be glad to have such a handsome king, he thought. They sat down to have a good meal together. Samuel treated Saul as a special visitor. Early in the morning, Samuel woke up the two men and took them to the road out of the town. "I have a secret to tell you," he said to Saul. The other man went on so that he would not hear. "God has chosen you to be a king of Israel," Samuel told Saul. Samuel poured some oil over Saul's head. Saul knew it was the way of showing that God had chosen him. Then Saul went home, but he kept the secret Samuel had told him. Not long after, Samuel called the Israelites together. Saul was there with everyone else. "Here is the man God has chosen to be your king," he said. And Saul stood up, tall and handsome. The Israelites were very glad. Now they would be like the other people who lived near them. "Long live the king," they shouted. So now when the Israelites had wars, King Saul led the soldiers into battle. The people were very proud of their tall, strong king. Their enemies were afraid to fight them. They knew what a good king Saul was. At first, all went well, but as time went by, Saul grew proud. He forgot to obey God. He did not listen to what Samuel said, so the Israelites forgot to serve God too. One day, King Saul's army fought the Amalekites. After the battle, King Saul and his army took some of the good things the Amalekites had owned, but God had told them to take nothing. Samuel said to Saul, "You have disobeyed God, and God is sorry he made you king. One day he will choose someone else." Not long after, God said to Samuel, "Saul will not be king forever. It is time to tell the new king of my plans." So Samuel set out for Bethlehem. God had sent him to find one of the sons of a man called Jesse. Samuel did not know it yet, but the new king's name was David.
Okay, well, this next song is one that has got some really good lively actions. It's called Jesus' Love is Very Wonderful. We start off by just clapping, but then we go so high you can't get over it, you've got to reach up high. So low you can't get under it, reach down low. So high you can't get round it. Oh, wonderful love. Okay, let's see who can get the highest and the lowest and the widest as we sing this one together. Jesus' love is very wonderful. Jesus' love is very wonderful. Jesus' love is very wonderful. Wonderful love, so high, so high. You can't get over it, so low. You can't get under it, so wide. You can't get round it, oh, wonderful love. Jesus' love is very wonderful. Jesus' love is very wonderful. Jesus' love is very wonderful. Wonderful love, so high, so high. You can't get over it, so low. You can't get under it, so wide. You can't get round it, oh, wonderful love. One more time now. Jesus' love is very wonderful. Jesus' love is very wonderful. Jesus' love is very wonderful, oh, wonderful love. So high, so low, so wide. Oh, wonderful love. Well, this song is called Prayer is Like a Telephone. And it's one that's got some actions. And it goes like this. Prayer is like a telephone for talking to Jesus. Prayer is like a telephone for talking to God. Prayer is like a telephone for talking to Jesus. Pick it up and use it every day. You can shout out loud. You can whisper softly. You can use no words at all, but he'll always hear your call. So we're going to run through it. Hopefully you'll be able to remember those actions. Try and get them in your head because we're going to make it a bit more tricky in a minute. But here's the easy way. Are you ready? Prayer is like a telephone for talking to Jesus. Prayer is like a telephone for talking to God. Prayer is like a telephone for talking to Jesus. Pick it up and use it every day. You can shout out loud. You can whisper softly. You can use no words at all, but he'll always hear your call. Prayer is like a telephone for talking to Jesus. Prayer is like a telephone for talking to God. Prayer is like a telephone for talking to Jesus. Pick it up and use it every day. You can shout out loud. You can time it gets a bit more difficult. The first time through, we're going to sing all the words, do all the actions. But the second time through, you just do the action for prayer and you go, it's like a telephone for talking to Jesus. Third time through, you just do the action for prayer and telephone. Fourth time through, just the action for prayer, telephone and talking. And then the last time through, you're going, it's like a 4, 2. So it gets a bit tricky then. Get your thinking caps on. Here we go. Are your brains in gear? Prayer is like a telephone for talking to Jesus. Prayer is like a telephone for talking to God. Prayer is like a telephone for talking to Jesus. Pick it up and use it every day. You can shout out loud. You can whisper softly. You can use no words at all, but he'll always hear your call. It's like a telephone for talking to Jesus. It's like a telephone for talking to God. It's like a telephone for talking to Jesus. Pick it up and use it every day. You can shout out loud. You can whisper softly. You can use no words at all, but he'll always hear your call. It's like a for talking to Jesus. It's like a for talking to God. It's like a for talking to Jesus. Pick it up and use it every day. You can shout out loud. You can whisper softly. You can use no words at all, but he'll always hear your call. It's like a for to Jesus. It's like a for to God. It's like a for to Jesus. Pick it up and use it every day. You can shout out loud. You can whisper softly. You can use no words at all, but he'll always hear your call. It's like a for to. It's like a for to. It's like a for to. Pick it up and use it every day. Ooh, well, if you managed to do all of that without any mistakes, give yourselves a big clap. Well, we're going to finish by saying our family prayer together, and this is a prayer with actions. If you don't know it, I'll just run through the actions and show you how it goes. So we start by saying hands together and eyes closed. But if you don't know the prayer, you can keep your eyes open and then you'll be able to see what the actions are. So hands together and eyes closed. From the top of our heads, and you touch the top of your head, to the tip of our toes, and you touch your toes. May the love of God, and we point up for God, and Jesus, his Son, and we stretch out our arms to remind us of Jesus who died on the cross for us. And then we do wiggly fingers, and we go flow through our hearts and bless everyone. Bless all the mums with wisdom, you point to your mind, and love, you cross your heart. Bless all the dads with strength from above, show me those muscles. Bless all the children again and again. That's the end of our prayer. So we all say, and a big loud, Amen. Okay, we're going to do it from the beginning. Here we go. Hands together and eyes closed. From the top of our heads to the tip of our toes, may the love of God and Jesus his Son flow through our hearts and bless everyone. Bless all the mums with wisdom and love. Bless all the dads with strength from above. Bless all the children again and again. That's the end of our prayer, so we all say, Amen. Good praying, everyone. Well, I hope you've enjoyed Kidz Church this week. We'll be back again next week with another Kidz Church. So have a good week, stay safe, and God bless.